news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here. These are the top stories we are tracking. Guyanese must not be cooks and servants for oil industry. Build national capacity to demand high-end jobs from ExxonMobil, says Professor Terence Blackman. And 15 months later, construction of $857 million Good Hope Secondary plagued with challenges, contractor to complete project by August, and deputy commander and ASP charged for falsifying meals payment. Meanwhile, Labour Minister insists equal pay for equal work for locals and foreigners, as Bel Air Park woman wanted by police for operating Ponzi scheme. Stay tuned to stay informed.
It is here, the Wake Up Guyana program with your host, Tony from Myconi, Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Kaieteur Radio, FM 99.1 in Demerara and Essequibo and 99.5 in Berbice. The radio with a difference.
And now for the news in detail. Ever since Guyana discovered billions of barrels of oil back in 2015, there have been intense public debates over proposed local content policies and possible legislation. There has, however, been little focus on building domestic capacity in order for Guyanese to be able to engage the industry in a meaningful way or to prepare them to take on high-end jobs that will emerge over the coming years in the industry. This was opined by Associate Professor of Mathematics Dr. Terence Blackman. He was adamant that the administration must be in a position to say to the companies that it is presently training a core of Guyanese so that they can take on some of the front-end jobs for the management of the industry. Professor Blackman said that there needs to be a clear conversation on what are the jobs being prepared for the people and proper infrastructure needs to be put in place. And now let's tell you 15 months after it should have been completed, the construction of the $857 million Good Hope Secondary School on the east coast of Demerara remains incomplete because of quote-unquote challenges being faced by the contractor. The contractor for the construction of the school was awarded, the contract was awarded to BK International Incorporated in October of 2018, with work starting the same month. The deadline for completion was January 2020. On Sunday, we made contact with BK International spokesperson Adam Harris, who stated that the school was almost complete. However, as it relates to the ongoing challenges in the construction process, Harris said that he was unaware, but he would contact the chief engineer and query. It is understood that the contractor has since been ordered to complete the project by August 2021. And moving on, the Ministry of Labor is currently in the process of updating its human resources and other capacities in order to deal with issues related to the influx of Venezuelans, Brazilians, Chinese, and other expatriates. Key among these, according to Minister Joseph Hamilton, is the need for equal pay for equal work for both locals and foreigners. The minister said that the ministry is working to ensure that the laws of Guyana are utilized to ensure that employees are paid their fair share while working in the country, regardless of sector. And now let's tell you the Guyana Police Force yesterday issued a wanted bulletin for 33-year-old Kezia Jewel Roberts of Lot 88 Epping and Ituni Streets, Bel Air Park, Georgetown. According to the police, Roberts is wanted for questioning in relation to operating a Ponzi scheme and falsely obtaining monies from several citizens between September 2020 and February 2021. Anyone with information that may lead to Roberts' arrest is asked to contact the police on telephone numbers 268-2298, 911 or the nearest police station. All information will be treated with the strictest confidence. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 22. Coming up after the break, redouble mask wearing efforts, says the emergency medicine specialist, as he urges and fears of more infectious COVID-19 variants surface. Meanwhile, COVID-19 lawbreakers crawl out of bushes as police tow away their vehicles. Do stay tuned.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let's tell you that instead of subsiding, it would seem that COVID-19 has not only been increasing, but steadily mutating, with scientists quite often deriving new theories about it. Here in Guyana, healthcare professionals have noted changes that suggest that the mutated variant has been inflicting our people in recent months. Emergency medicine specialist Dr. Zulfikar Bucks noted that scientists have found that new variants from Brazil, the United Kingdom, and South Africa can be up to 2 times easier to catch than the previous circulating strains. This has caused the doctor to urge members of the public to redouble their mask-wearing efforts. He cautioned that the virus can still enter the body if the mask is loose-fitting, and as such, he warned, ensure your mask is tight-fitting and your nose and mouth are properly covered. In other news, 7 COVID-19 lawbreakers who had attended a private party in Stanleytown on the west bank of Demerara on Sunday were forced to crawl out of bushes in which they were hiding after police decided to tow away their vehicles. Region 3 police reported that 5 of the lawbreakers were drivers and the vehicles, while the other 2 were passengers. Those individuals, along with the hostess of the private party, were arrested and taken into custody at the Lagrange police station for breaching the COVID-19 restrictions. According to police, Region 3 ranks had received a tip-off that the party was being held at Lot 60, Church Street, Stanleytown, West Bank, Demerara. In other news, Guyana's Foreign Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Robert Prasad, believes that the diaspora cannot be excluded from any development plans for the country with regards to its emerging oil and gas sector. This, Prasad opined, is given the enormous potential that exists in the diaspora and not domiciled in the country. He underscored that several countries across the world have turned to their respective diaspora populations not only for political purposes but economical development. As such, he announced that Guyana is currently pursuing a migration policy for the country that would guide the inflows of the domestic labor market and deal with inherent issues of citizenship. And now let's tell you a man was last Friday remanded to prison for allegedly touching a policewoman's breast. The defendant, Jason Yanis of Ben Street Working Rust, Georgetown, had appeared before Senior Magistrate Leron Daly in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts. According to the facts of the charge, the rank was performing her duties when Yanis approached her and touched her breast before walking away. Yanis was remanded to prison and the matter was adjourned to May 10th. This is not the first time the defendant was charged for sexually assaulting a female. With the time now moving on to 12 hours 24, coming up after the break is your COVID-19 update. According to Worldometer, the number of worldwide coronavirus cases has reached 137.5 million, with deaths at 2.9 million and recovery cases at 110.6 million. Locally, the Ministry of Health yesterday reported that a 64-year-old man from Region 4 and a 60-year-old woman from Region 3 are the country's latest COVID-19 fatalities. With their passing, the COVID-19 death toll now stands at 257. 40 new infections were also reported, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 11,189. 17 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU, another 13 are in institutional quarantine, 74 are in institutional isolation, and 1,090 are in home isolation. Additionally, a total of 9,751 persons have recovered to date, with 30 new recoveries recorded yesterday. And coming from CNN, U.S. CDC and FDA recommend U.S. pause Johnson & Johnson vaccine use over blood clot concerns out of abundance of caution. The 6 reported cases were among more than 6.8 million doses of the vaccine administered in the U.S. Meanwhile, U.S. COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations are increasing, particularly for younger people, while deaths are going down, the CDC director said. And cases in India are surging during a steep second wave as millions gather for a religious festival. And on that note, we now head over to the page 7 of the Kaieteur News for our blunt comment. Taking the COVID-19 vaccine is important. We will never argue against that. At the same time, it is no secret, given the experience of other countries that started their vaccination campaign long before ours, the vaccine by itself is no silver bullet. Moreover, even if each eligible person takes the vaccine, it will not instantly solve our COVID-19 problem. Precautionary measures must remain mandatory. Some developed countries, in addition to their vaccination campaign, have seen the need for a lockdown and have done so in a bid to arrest the spread of the virus. But given the pro-business stance of the PPPC, we do not expect a lockdown anytime soon. But we continue to see our attempts at controlling an already out-of-hand situation, evident by the average of 100 new cases per day and the likely death of 1 in every 40 positive cases. Bravo to the government for ramping up enforcement, but we pray that this would be enough to help save what remains of our declining population. This, it would seem, is the most our government is prepared to do for us. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different media